I might be wrong on this. Correct me if I'm wrong, which you will do, and I will be.
I felt guilty that I was letting the Royal Ballet down. The questions were rising, like why we always in the studio and nothing else.
It's amazing, isn't it, how you can do something that is obviously a joke. The media will interpret it literally because it's in their or our interest. Never trust a journalist. You get everything wrong.
And I got so much hate for that. You don't feel connected to the world till you do something like that, till people start hating you, knocks you out your feet. Like you just knocks you on the floor, like you feel drained. And I was like, do not follow into this trap of playing with the media, with people.
Do you have regrets about that? You know, it kind of gave you a reputation that's so untrue to what you're like because there's an incredible sweetness and kindness about you. It's a huge pleasure to welcome Sergey. And what we're going to do is just look through a few pictures and talk about Sergey's life. I also want to welcome you to the Wimbledon Book Festival, which is fantastic to have you all here in the Robert Graves tent, and all of the people who are watching at home because it's also being filmed. I'm Simon Hattenstone. I'm a journalist with The Guardian, and Sergey and I met a couple of years ago and did a very long interview. That was when Sergey has a habit of doing slightly controversial things at times. This was another one of his controversies. Now, I'm also going to be the clicker. So if you can see, is the first picture up at the moment? Because, yeah. So Sergey, Sergey's published a book, which it's fantastic, actually. I'm not really into those massive picture books. Sorry, Sergey. But this is wonderful because every photographer is an artist, and he's obviously an artist. And you see him continually in flight, and it's just beautiful. So, Sergey, tell us about that picture. Why did you want that on the cover?
First of all, hello. Thank you for coming. Thank you. It means a lot, and thank you, Simon, for being here and supporting me. Yeah, this about this picture. This is Albert Watson's picture. We did in New York, and he's incredible, wonderful man, and his wife Elizabeth is really wonderful. Who they've been together since school actually, and they met in a kindergarten first time. So they've been together like more than 50 years or something. So and you learn every time, not just by working with somebody, but looking at them. And his gift to me was really getting down. Like, he's a Scottish man, and he really like about work. You know, he's like, don't be scared to get on your knees. And he was saying that, you know, he was like, nowadays photographers, they don't want to go down on the knees, and he had really bad knees himself, but and he replaced them actually. But he said it's about getting this bag and do it yourself, and you learn things like that from this incredible artist. But at the same time, he comes up with something that you're part of this creation of this world of their world, because I didn't think of that, you know. I just did my jump, but they create something special, and that's, yeah, you tip into their world, which is always different, and I don't know what to expect.
Sergey, why did you call the book Free?
Free because at the end of this story, at the end of this chapter, where I'm 30 years old, I feel free to be a dancer. I feel free to be a human being. I don't have any sort of boundaries, or like, I don't know. I feel very free inside, and the main thing was I became free to dance, because all my life I was fighting with the dance itself. I didn't come up with that name. Somebody did, and I was like, okay, wow, this is this is really good. So yeah, creating a book, it's very, very hard, and it's not just me who were working on it. It's Tatiana, Philip, Monica here, and my partner Yelena, and it was such a big team was working on it, and we worked for it over COVID. And if not COVID, I don't think I would have made it. It's everyday work for many hours to to find this to find the because some pictures are from my childhood, and I was like, how do you find that photographer?
We're going to hopefully move on to one.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's coming next, but I think yes, this is the one we wanted. Now, Sergey, that's Dad and that's Mum. Yeah.
Yes.
What are you? Right. I'm going to ask the questions now. What are you hanging from? Why are you hanging from it? Was that at a time when you were trying to be or thinking of being a gymnast? And I know that you've called Mum your guardian protector, and you said Dad was one of the warmest men or the warmest men you've ever met. I mean, he looks it as well. Tell us why. Tell us a bit about them, but most of all, tell us where you're hanging from.
Well, yeah, I was a gymnast from 4 years old, so it's very hard to be gymnast. I have to say, harder than ballet. I found, because it's a competitions. It's 6 hours a day, and you become very strong. Like incredibly, you develop so many muscles in your body, and it gives you determination and the goal. So that gave me an amazing opportunity to have a goal in life. It's like to be a gold medalist. So you see that vision and you go for it. So when I transferred for dancing, for ballet, I thought, okay, what's my gold medal? Okay, I was like being the best dancer. Okay, I'm gonna go to that. And about my parents, yeah, they're very different. My mom is they're both amazing people, but my father is very too good, I would say, for this world, because he's so nice that sometimes, like, he doesn't, for example, if somebody gives him extra money by accident, he would go and give it back, because he's like, oh my god, somebody, and my mom is sort of a little bit opposite. She has more of a grip on life, and inhabited both sides. I have that niceness of my father, but at the same time, it's important to have that grip to survive. But both wonderful people, which is good when you grow up. You realize later. I was like, okay, my parents are good people, and that's very, very, very important.
Was the picture on the left taken in the Ukraine?
Both in Kherson, in Ukraine, yes.
And is that you with your mum or someone else?
That's me.
Is it? Oh, sweet.
I look like a girl.
Cutesy.
I got confused that I was a girl till I was 12, all the time.
And I know that you've often said that Ukraine didn't feel like home. When did you develop a sense that Ukraine didn't feel like home? Presumably much later than the hanging.
Yeah, later, yes. I mean, big move we changed the flats, and I lost all my friends when I was like 4. And then I went to gymnastics, and we went to Kiev. So we constantly were moving somewhere, so you lose that sense of a place. And in Kiev, you're not you're counted as a foreigner if you come from a different city to the school. So I always was an outsider. Then I went to England. I was actually close by here in Richmond, studying, and you're a foreigner. Still, I had the best time of my life in school, I have to say, in Royal Ballet School. Like, incredible, absolutely incredible. But yeah, you just constantly have that feeling of being outsider, and you have to prove yourself, and you cannot make mistakes. But I'm still looking for that home. I'm still like, is that America? Is that England? Is that Europe? Is that India? So I will find it.
And are you any nearer to finding it? If you had to choose one place, would you be able to narrow it down?
I'm trying to.
Yeah?
I'm like really trying to.
Well, when you do, come back. Tell us.
Yes.
I'm going to move on. I love this. This is, like, Sergey has got the cutest pictures ever, as well as some of the hardest ones as well. So is this The Hobbit?
Yes, it is Hobbit. And
How old were you then?
I was about a bit 11 or 12 for competition.
And
Yeah.
is it right? I might be wrong on this. Is this a picture that you used to not like, but now you like it?
No, it's a different one.
Is that a different one?
I like that dance a lot.
Yeah. Never trust a journalist. You get everything wrong. Tell us about it.
I really like this dance, and I danced to the Hobbit, to the Lord of the Rings music, and I portrayed the Hobbit. So, and I liked the costume, and I enjoyed dancing it.
Is that your natural color hair there?
Yeah, I mean, looks red, but it's lights.
I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
Now, this is amazing, and it will display my ballet ignorance, but can you tell us where you were there, and also explain, if you look closely at the bottom, you can see a very crunched toe. Yeah? Is this a picture that you sent off to the Royal Ballet School?
Yes, this is a picture that got me audition for Royal Ballet School. And after we made this with my first teacher, my first, I would say, like, I call him one of the most important teachers in the theater, because he gave me the posture, he gave me the feel of how to be on stage. He taught me a lot of things. And after this picture, I went to Royal Ballet audition. So this picture we did to send it. And yeah, you're not supposed to crunch the toe, but in ballet, they always tell you, don't crunch the toe, but I don't understand it. And I was like, why not? Like, it's really...
Is that actually hard to do? I was trying to do it before. I couldn't do it.
I like crunching because you protect your toes. If you stretch your toes and land, I think you can break them. So I like to crunch them so you land and protect your feet.
Let's move on to... Now, you're at Royal Ballet School. And one of the nice things about the book is, as well as the great pictures, then the lovely potted biographies in it. You talk about the time there. And I think you say this is one of the happiest times of your life.
It's very true. Royal Ballet School is so well, we're so well looked after. I didn't have a headache once. I didn't have a stomach ache. And it was... maybe I was lucky to have these friends, but they were really good humans. It was always everybody, I think, in Royal Ballet School have the time of their life. It's just really well made, the best facilities for everything, and they're good people that I don't really talk to them because I'm not very good with communications when I'm not one-on-one, but if I would see them right now, like, we would be the best friends again. I feel, yeah, somebody moved on to music, somebody became a rock person, like a guitarist.
Really? What, successful?
Somebody is a builder. Somebody is in Zurich company. Somebody in Germany.
That's amazing. I think you've given me an idea for a feature there. And how many of those, did you say one of them went on to be a professional dancer besides? Two. So it's incredibly competitive, isn't it? You know, you get to that stage, which is a fantastic achievement in itself.
It's hard because you go through White Lodge, and then you have a competition to get to upper school. Not everybody gets to upper school. And once you get to upper school, it's very little chance that you're going to get to Royal Ballet. So, yeah, like year above us, nobody got into Royal Ballet. Like, and from our year, it was 3 people.
And out of how many would that be about?
Like 40, I would say.
It's tough. I love this. This is the symmetry of this photo is gobsmacking, isn't it? That's a technical ballet term, by the way. But if you like just the legs, the kind of symmetry, and also like one of the things I was looking at before, Sergey, was the hand in the background almost touching the hand. It's just gorgeous. Will you tell us about this? Tell us where you were, what you were doing, and what stage of this is at the Royal Ballet, yeah?
Yeah, this is a Royal Ballet, and here's really well shown power of Royal Ballet because they made amazing backgrounds and amazing costumes. They're very heavy. Everything is made. Let's say if it has to be steel, it is going to be steel. So a lot of the times you fight for the space, and it's hard enough to rehearse things, and then you put the costume, and it's twice harder to dance in them. But they look beautiful, and this is a nutcracker that I did. There's two roles in this ballet. One is a nutcracker, and this is a prince in the second act. And I did corps de ballet work as well for 3 years at the Royal Ballet. So I did every role in every ballet. So I did 4 people there, corps de ballet, which is good and bad. I find the good thing I learned from being in corps de ballet, respect, because corps de ballet works way harder than principals, I find. So I have a tremendous respect to dancers who they're 12 hours a day for 6 times a week. And I never actually, more than in Royal Ballet, corps de ballet, and I haven't found anybody who works harder. So I have a tremendous respect. The minus side is like you spend a long time there. It's like constantly learning something. I don't think it was that important to me to do. But I did it, like I spent these hours learning, studying. So yeah, that was my journey. In Ukraine, for example, you don't do corps de ballet. Like if you're a good dancer, I don't say in Royal Ballet they're all top dancers, to be honest. But if you're have a potential to be a principal, you're straight away principal. They don't make you go through many ranks. In Royal Ballet, it doesn't matter how good you are. You're gonna do this years, and it's tough because you do soloist role, you can do principal roles, but at the same time you do standing roles, and you do walking roles, and you do just watching roles. So you can be standing there like during the day, 3 acts standing. In the evening, you're gonna be doing some soloist and maybe a principal. So your back is like, so it's tough. It would have been easier if to do one thing or another, but Royal Ballet makes you do all of that. And I have to say, all of them, it's a little bit of luck as well because they're all good. So anybody potentially could be a principal or soloist. So it's only one person director decides it. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. So one person decides your life. So
what I find amazing is that I think were you, 21, and this was, I think, close to when you quit the Royal Ballet. So now correct me if I'm wrong, which you will do, and I will be. But 2 years there, principal, people saying, comparing you with Baryshnikov, with Nureyev, and then you left after 2 years. Tell us why.
I use a lot of intuition, and my intuition was I've been a long time in one spot, in one place, and you work very hard. As I said, it's 12 hours a day minimum in one place, in one building. You do amazing roles and you dance a lot. And I was like, it must be more to life than this. I didn't know what's outside life is like. I didn't know what Baryshnikov experienced by that doing, I don't know, like musicals or the other type of dance. I didn't know how to do an advertisement on TV. I was like watching Graham Norton and thinking, why is the ballet dancers not on it? I was like, the questions were rising, like why we always in the studio and nothing else. So I wanted to open that box up, and it was building till I had a really bad rehearsal. That I walked out of rehearsal, and then I was like, this is a good time to leave. It was spontaneous because I messed up, like it was so intense. I was like, okay, I need to leave. And it was a good time because I really liked Monica Mason. She gave me so much. She was director of Royal Ballet at the time, and at the same time I really liked Kevin O'Hare, who was, they were like my families, because that's who you trust. And Kevin O'Hare was the next director coming, and I didn't want to leave when he's just got to the job, so I kind of left in the middle. And I thought that was a perfect thing. I don't mess her up too much, and I don't mess I don't mess his career. So I kind of was like, this is a good.
I think one of the things that you said was that you felt there was a lack of solidarity. That at the ballet school, it was all about solidarity and being a team.
It's true. And when I went to Royal Ballet, because it's not many of us from school went to Royal Ballet, I found the generation was older and not as accepting as I thought it should be. And I just didn't find any friends there. And as I said, potentially every dancer could be a principal or a soloist, so they all competing to be one. And so it's not become a teamwork, it's become an anytime anybody can get injured. And of course dancers, a young guy coming and doing the soloist work is like, and they've been there for 10 years, of course it's not good feeling. Like and all these things I learned in a different industry that works better than in the movie. You get a contract, you know what you're doing, you set on a paper, and you come in to do your job. That's it. There's no competition. In a ballet, is like everybody is in constant competition. So I was getting a little bit upset with the industry. And
now, is it right, Sergei? Because I think we can trust people here, that when you left, you had one of your little implosions. Yeah, it was one of those dramatic times when, correct me if I'm wrong, you thought, I'll do it in style. Was there a little bit of self-destruction? I remember a tweet you put out at the time. Was it a tweet?
Twitter, yeah, I used Twitter.
Yeah, when you said, has anybody got any? Sergei, I'll tell the story.
No, first of all, when I was quitting, I did everything properly. I went to director. It was spontaneous decision. I went to director, I talked to director. We made an agreement, and I felt bad doing it. Like I felt guilty that I was letting the Royal Ballet down. Of course, they gave me so much, so I felt that guilt of leaving. But I wanted to go to America and try other things. That was my thinking. So when I left, media suddenly picked up the story, and they start to make things, I don't know, thinking about things, writing about them, why, what. And stupidly enough, I start playing with it. I decided to listen to them rather than to myself. So I was like, even though part of me was guilty about it, and I was like a bit self-destructive, but at the same time, instead of listening to myself, I started listening to the media, and I fell into that trap of playing with it. And to me, it was really weird. Like you tweet something, and then you watch BBC, and it's on it. And you're like, this is so weird. Like, just weird to realize how things work.
And what was on the BBC that time?
It was funny. I didn't think people will take it seriously. I tweeted, yeah, if anybody sells heroin, which to me is like, who would ask for heroin on the Twitter?
It was a total joke, wasn't it?
And then the BBC was like, oh my God. So I found it hilarious, but I think I had so many opportunities at the time to choose things, but I didn't know what freedom is, like how to conduct. I didn't even know how to reply to emails. I didn't have managers. I didn't have agents. I didn't have assistants. Like I didn't have team supporting me. So I was like free, but what is that?
It is amazing, isn't it, how when you can do something that is obviously a joke, the media will interpret it literally because it's in their or our interest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you learn media that way because you experience it.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, tell us about this.
this is my favorite role, Giselle. I love mood of it, but only second act. I like the moodness of it. I like the colors. I like the romanticism, beauty of it. And I think it's a perfect second act. Like it's a very subtle. It's not so obvious the way you act. It's one of the hardest for me for some reason to dance because it's very intense 15 last minutes and it's choreographed so you die at the end. The story is that you dance to die and that's how you feel. You like the oxygen stop going into your brain and you literally feel like walking out and then you have to carry on with ballerina and the jumps. it's it's very powerful ballet for me, and I like the moodness of it, and I like the just the colors and everything.
Colors are gorgeous. What do you feel at the end of something like that? You say it's something that you dance to die, and that's kind of what you do when you come off stage from something like that.
It's because I think it attacks your liver because you power in it, and your body is literally fighting for life, so you feel anger. I'm like, I'm not gonna do ever this again because you're literally looking at the wings, thinking I have to walk out. It's very hard. So one of the like I did once the Giselle, and Kevin O'Hare came to invite me back to Royal Ballet, and I did Giselle, and I felt so angry and tired that I told him, I was like, I will never dance again. So he just came to talk to me, and I was like, I'm not doing this again. And I was like, so yeah,
this is amazing. Is this please tell me it's trick photography? Actually, please tell me it's not.
We were there. We were there. I think they flipped the picture. Meaning we were there and I was jumping and this was there. I'm not sure if it was flipped or I might have jumped other way. But yeah, we were there, and it was part of Royal Ballet plan. When you become a principal, they bring you back to where you're from. It's a little bit paradox there because it's Crimea, and I went there as a Ukrainian, but now I'm a director of the school there because I'm Russian. So it's like it's a flip. But yeah, it's in the Crimea, and it was on Royal Ballet hanging for a couple of months, and it was what I love about nature and the photography that that the weather can play a big part in part of the making picture, because it was supposed to be sunny and beautiful weather, and it's when we went there it was storm and it was waves and it's almost washed us out, and I was jumping and it was like blowing me into the sea. So it was a bit dangerous, but really became really moody, and weather made this picture, I think.
Do you ever feel like you can almost fly when you're doing something like that?
No, because it's a half a second. It's like blub blub. And
I wouldn't mind that half second.
It's about making it look like you're flying. You don't really.
Yeah, sexy Sergey.
No,
was this for Vogue?
It's a Russian Vogue, and
They really like their cushions, don't they?
No, what's wonderful about pictures, they give you why I liked fashion and photography, because they give you acting roles to do, little acting roles. So this was pretending to be Nureyev and his pictures when he was in his house with this all the cushions, and so this is sort of inspired by him.
And one of the things in the book, there's a big, it's divided into, you know, kind of early life, Royal Ballet, film and fashion. And it's amazing how much fashion you've done with great photographers. And modeling is actually it's a part of your professional life, isn't it?
Well, fashion gave opportunities for me and photographers to meet.
Yeah.
Because fashion industry such a big, powerful industry with enough money to make these photo shoots, and dancers, I don't know, singers, photographers use the opportunity to meet and collaborate. And I didn't actually notice the fashion side of it till much later. Now I understand how important actually fashion is, because it's I want to use fashion to create costumes for ballets. But at the time, I was just like happy to work with filmmakers or photographers because of fashion.
How's the story of this one?
This one is Gus Van Sant,
The filmmaker.
Filmmaker, yes.
Great filmmaker.
In Los Angeles, where Rebel Without the Cause was shot, James Dean film. And he was shooting the picture that we couldn't check what there. It was really old camera, like 100 years old camera. So he shot it, and we only could see it like next day what it is. And
you almost look like Iggy Pop on it. And it's a really unusual photo of you because you're wearing jeans. I think it's probably the only one in the book, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Now, this is hard Sergei. This is punk Sergei. There's a change in mood.
Anton Corbijn, which is it's legend on his own. He worked with like Rolling Stones and pretty much like U2, every band you would think of, he worked with them. And he's luckily agreed to do a Dancer 2 movie. So we are making a plan for next year to collaborate, creating some dance and art for that movie. And we went to this island. Thank you to Tatiana and Gabriel Tana, who made it possible. But in Netherlands, we shipped like a big stage to these islands, and I danced there for Depeche Mode song In Your Room. And it was really, really cold.
How old were you?
This was like 6 months ago, maybe less.
Is that all? Wow.
I look younger in the picture.
I didn't realize that. It's interesting because let's talk a bit about body art, because I think those of you with the more acute eye might notice that Sergei's chest has changed a little over the years. So early on, we were looking and you were untattooed. There you have the big... Can you describe that tattoo?
Well, I don't have... I mean, I made the...
Is that one still there?
I made Putin's tattoo on my chest in England. Let's shut up.
I think this was around the time that we did the interview, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And tell us about that. So you went from... I mean, tell us both about the tattoos, why you went from being, you know, kind of untattooed, I think that's the word, to having a huge amount of tattoos and very unusual, controversial tattoos on you. What was the process of that? And why did you want Putin on your chest?
Well, originally, first of all, David Beckham ruined it for everybody because he made it very popular tattoos. When I started it, there was nobody. It was a bit like taboo to do it.
Mm.
Uh, and because I was a foreigner, because I was attached to my work, my visa would be every year renewed because of my work. I was attached to Royal Ballet, so every time, if I didn't want to work with Royal Ballet, I would be out of the country. So it plays a pressure on you. And I also looked at people who had tattoos on their face, on their hands. I was like, this is free people. They're not attached to their work because you weren't allowed to have tattoos when you're office worker, or so I found, like, to me it was like an act of freedom. So that's how I started. And as soon as I started, Royal Ballet made this meeting to say nobody's allowed to do tattoos. So I did more, and then and that's how it started.
So when they held that meeting, had you got Putin on your chest at that point?
No.
How did that go down?
Well, the reason for Putin, it was a nice reason because my belief was always to treat people with love. So you have to, doesn't matter who it is. Like I was looking at some artist on stage, it's like, you Trump, and I'm like, even if you don't like somebody, it's like, will this person listen to you if you're gonna be like that too? It's like you don't change things through hatefulness and there was a lot of negativity about Putin. So I was in England at the time and there was a single election in Russia, and there was so much negativity for English people. And I was like, why are you doing this? Like, why is the press doing this? So, and I thought that, like, I felt for the person for whatever reason, and I thought I will do it to protect his energy, like whatever that meant. And I did it, and I didn't reveal it for a year. Like, it was just hidden for a year.
How did you cover yourself when you were dancing?
Just makeup. And one day it was like
showed through once, didn't it?
Yeah, one show through once in Serbia, and people start to freak out. And then I thought I will do a nice post on my birthday to say about love, about treating everybody with love. Doesn't matter like how much you hate or don't hate person, And I thought I will use my birthday to say, I don't need, guys, your wishes. Send it to somebody that you have mixed feelings about. And I found Putin on Twitter, on Instagram, and to be honest, I wasn't thinking about Putin. Actually, he came up on my feed, and I did it, and I got so much hate for that. So much hate that you don't feel connected to the world till you do something like that, till people start hating you, because it knocks you out your feet. You like if you're a sensitive person to the energies, it's horrible. And I was like, what is going on? And I was like, people didn't understand me. So I did another nice nice tweet, and I got even more hate. And
but you said, didn't you, that you were actually almost buzzing off it after a while?
It knocks you down. Like, I remember, like, it just knocks you on the floor. Like, you feel drained. So like your heart is not, like, it's a really weird feeling. And I knew my time with Royal Ballet. I was like, do not fall into that trap. And I was like, do not fall into this trap of playing with the media, with people. Don't defend anything. And I did. I fell into it. Like, a week later, I was like, okay,
do you think you've learned since then? We've got to rush on, because this was what we had. It was about a 3-hour conversation just about this, which is, I mean, it's fascinating. It's just incredibly interesting. But we've got to move on a bit so we can allow you to ask questions and just get to the end of the slides as well. Is Putin not on your chest now?
I'm removing all my tattoos. I'm trying to, because I went already about 15 times. But they're so slow at going. And it's hard enough to make your mind once, but imagine 15 times.
How painful is it?
first 3 times wasn't painful, but then they crease the laser,
Yeah.
and then you're steaming. Like you see in the smoke, and you're like, whoa.
So, Sergey, have you basically spent the last year on fire?
Yeah, and I was like, this is too much. It is painful. It's like about 10 times probably more painful
I think
than making it.
your body should be in an art
But then
gallery.
it comes back like it's new.
I'm going to flip really quickly to this.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, Sergey, are you 29?
I'm 31.
31. God, I'm rubbish. But you went into films. This is Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes. Which, yeah.
And
like
how's your film career going? Are you enjoying your film career?
it's good. It's good. I mean, I have propositions, not as good as when before I ruined everything. Before I ruined everything, it was really gonna be big.
He was hot.
Yeah, I was in Hollywood, and directors wanted to meet me. It was really good agency. Paid my price. So now I'm getting back.
Do you have regrets about that, or do you think it was a learning process? It was part of your evolution.
I don't know. The question was like, will my consciousness let me live as myself if I wouldn't have done certain things?
Yeah.
And to me, for whatever reason, it was important to do what I did for my consciousness, because I wouldn't have felt good about myself. So I'm happy with myself, but not happy with hurting certain people, because a lot of people did a lot of work, and I kind of ruined everything.
But also, you have, it kind of gave you a reputation that's so untrue to what you're like, because there's an incredible sweetness and kindness about you. Honest.
But what's wonderful, it's potentially to be able to come back. So that's a wonderful thing, that if you get a second opportunities or third, it's...
And this is an age of people being cancelled. Did you feel you were in danger of being cancelled?
No, I did it purposely on myself, everything. So it wasn't in danger. I did it. Like, it was on purpose.
Do you think there's any chance that you would do something like that again, or like you did when you... Do you feel that you've still got your finger on the Polunin nuclear trigger, or is that a thing of the past?
Part of creation is destruction. It's definitely something there, but I hope not. I hope not.
This is Mum and Dad and you. A few years on from the first one.
Yeah, they surprised me.
Oh, this is just so... It's beautiful. Tell me about... This is Elena.
Yes,
and Mir.
Yelena and Mir, who are my family, and what's wonderful to feel that love that keeps growing every day. So that's quite a very, very powerful feeling. And when you have a son, or a girl, or I mean, I don't have a girl, I have a boy, but it's hard to explain when you what it's like, because it's a love that keeps growing every day, and makes you really happy.
It's also one of the greatest David Ginola impressions I've ever seen. Don't you think? He is a dead ringer. And that picture on the back of the book, why that? What does that say to you, if anything, about you?
I mean, Bruce Weber did this picture, who got cancelled by Me Too movement. And Bruce Weber is genius and talented photographer. Who... I don't know, it's his art, what he does. I cannot explain what he's doing.
You
with the picture.
remember having that photo taken?
Yeah, it was in New York.
Can you remember what you were thinking of?
No, because you look at the photographer and you're really
Yeah.
trying to become him or his
Yeah.
world and what he wants. And again, to me, I look at the artist for what artist they are. I don't care what they say or what they have done or who they're. It's a different problem. But what I like is the talent. You know, like
Sergey, should we open it up to the
yes.
floor? Because I'm aware we're running out of time. So if anyone wants to put their hands up for a question for Sergey, I'll try and find you. Do we have? Can we go to the woman with her hand up on the 5th row on the right? I do apologise. I don't know my left and right. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Fascinating talk. I'm just really interested in which choreographers of today inspire you and which dance companies really excite you with what they're doing.
No, thank you. I divide the world into choreographers who are working with established companies and crazy talented. I tried to work with some of them. They are 3-4 years booked ahead. I was like, okay. And so I started to build new generation of choreographers myself and trying to find people who didn't work or weren't booked so much. So people who I work closely, like, I don't know, like Ross Freddie Ray, Yuka Oshii, Johan Coburg, this new generation, and I'm like growing with them and exploring, and these two different worlds that I see. One is established, which they're doing incredible work, but they're doing in the companies and they're booked. And I work with people given platform for them to create, to collaborate with musicians, and we create something new. Like I'm all about the new. I'm trying to create something new.
Anyone else with a? There's a woman right at the back, back row, just in the middle aisle. I think it's coming to you. And if anybody else has got questions, we can spot you in advance. And
thank you for your talk. Actually, I have got 2 questions, if you don't mind. First of all, you're probably one of the your top genius ballet dancer in line of Russian ballet dance. I'm originally majority of male dancer have a kind of Russian background or connection with Russia. So how do you distinguish yourself from the others, right? And number 2, you mentioned you're a director at Ballet Academy, New Ballet Academy in Crimea. So you're bringing up kids. So what do you want to build in them? Do you want to build that kind of freedom to dance as well? So what's your focus there with the kids?
Thank you. It's an interesting thing. We define ourselves like, oh, Russian, Ukrainian, blah, blah, blah. When I did my DNA test, I found like 8-9 different traits, like Hungarian, potentially some South European, like North, Russian, Polish, Ukrainian, and it keeps going. So I think if you do a DNA test, we're so different. Like I don't consider myself, to be honest, from anywhere. Like I'm very trying to. Even as a dancer, I had a technique. My technique originally was Vaganova technique, which is very good for first 3-4 years. And then I moved on to Royal Ballet, which much freer and more about acting. And so I got completely different technique. And when I came back to Russia, they found it very new. It's something they didn't see before. And about children, we're creating foundations, we're supporting children. I'm a director at school in Crimea, and till I saw kids, I was like, okay, that's why we're doing this. in the Crimea, you see this super talented little ballet dancers. And I'm like, if not this money or opportunity, they would have never been here. And I'm like, how important is that? So, and I was myself sponsored by Nuria Foundation. And it's incredibly important to grow it. I want to grow it into such a big foundation of support for systematic support of different children. Would the Russian child wants to go to Royal Ballet, or an Indian child wants to go, I don't know, Rambert School, or whatever I find this children in Serbia, we're sponsoring with American money for different children in Europe schools. So we carrying on building it, and I want to make it systematic and big.
Oh, great, thank you.
Sergei, I'm from I was with the Royal Ballet many, many years ago. Monica Mason, I was at school with her. And I do know that when we first saw you, we thought, my God, that's what we want. And then you left us. And we were so sad, because this is what the Royal Ballet really needed. And I'm sure you knew Monica Mason, did you?
No, yeah, I mean,
she was
it was a little bit too easy to leave.
I was
like, I need to go.
I was thinking, because it wasn't so easy for me. So my God, the first time you stay on one foot on that stage at the Royal Opera House, you think I've arrived. But I think for you, it wasn't quite the same. Did it come maybe too easily? We should have made it more difficult for you, obviously.
No, it was hard. No. It was hard, and looking back, I learned so much there. They have it's so well thought everything. When I'm doing different performances, I'm actually implementing stuff from Royal Ballet, because everything was makeup, costumes, the way they looked after you, the way they helped you to go on stage. You didn't think about anything else but dance. So
your technique was fantastic. It really was. And I know that we were all very, very sad when you left, because we needed one or two more lovely, wonderful gentlemen at the Royal Ballet. But anyway, thank you. It's been fascinating. I don't want to take out. I could spend at least another hour with you.
Thank you.
More people you've upset. We've got someone over there. Thanks.
Well, I'm not upset with what you're doing. I'm really interested in what you're doing with bringing ballets that are more intense. With what you're doing with, like Johan, with having no intervals, because the drama and intensity of that Romeo and Juliet in Verona was something else. So I think that I've heard you talk about that you don't want the audience to be bored. Maybe you could talk to the audience here a little bit about what your vision is about how ballets should be.
Yes, we have to create a ballet for this generation, for us, for who live now, who watch Hollywood movies, who watch Netflix. We live in a different pace. Let's say when it was in the 1900s or 1800s, where people had time to go and see 4-act ballets. Now it's different pace. We have quicker information. Our brains work different. So it's very simple, is to work with artists who are very relevant now, with relevant musicians, and to make it the relevant pace. Yeah, Romeo and Juliet that we are bringing 1st of December to Royal Albert Hall. It's a good example, taking a classic and making it very modern looking. Like incredible costumes that I cannot reveal who did it, but it's top-notch fashion people. Pace. You feel the idea was for it to feel like a movie. So yeah.
I think we've probably got to one more question.
I understand that, Sergei, you're going to be at the Royal Albert Hall on the 1st of December, but also you're coming back to the Palladium on 15th of October for a special event as well, yes?
Yes, 15th of October, Palladium, which which I will dance Bolero, and I will dance well, some of that. I'm doing a Paradise from our new production, so it's going to be a wonderful evening of dance and also some talk. Some more talk about the book, but it's going to be quite powerful, beautiful dance there. Creation is beautiful. Bolero is quite beautiful production. So yeah, if you get, I'm inviting you guys, but yeah, it would be amazing if you come. It means a lot, the support, and thank you.
Hey, thanks so much, everyone. Actually, I've got one question I've always wondered. Why did you have to put urine on your knee? I just always wondered.
I had the most injured I've been. It's from age 11 till 15. I think when knees are still growing and you keep jumping, you get a lot of injuries. So we were putting everything there, like honey, metals, ultrasounds, creams, urine. So
you basically just run out of things.
Basically hair stopped growing around my knee. Like we did so much to it. But yeah.
So remember, if you want to be a great dancer, urine on the knee. Thanks very much, everyone. You've been
so much.
Brilliant audience.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's really great talking to Sergei because as well as being an amazing artist, he's got an incredible story and an incredible kind of vision of what he wants life to be. It might look as if I'm reading this, and that would be because I am. So thank you all for coming. Do come to events over the weekend. This is an instruction. Waterstones are on site selling signed copies of Free, and Sergei is going to the tent to do personalized copies. Yeah? And I hope you've had a good time. We have, haven't we? It's been good, hasn't it? Yeah? So thanks very much for being great.